of different categories are going to be brought to the fore, and we may have mentioned it once or twice that Fraser's got a little bit of inside knowledge. I'll let him off a little bit. Before we introduce Alan, good and proper here, Fraser, why, in your opinion, is it important that the Sport Pembrokeshire Awards continue to thrive here in Pembrokeshire?
Oh, it just, obviously it recognises what goes on in the county. It gives people a chance to also nominate people who they believe are worthy and maybe don't get the credit they deserve, or even perhaps the recognition they deserve elsewhere. They're a very, very important evening. And it also brings together, the community in the county as well, brings together so many, different faces from different sports. It's a great night, just also catching up with people as well as for rewarding people as well. So they're important in a lot of ways, Tom, certainly.
Gordon, have you ever put a nomination in yourself, or have you ever looked around and thought, oh, actually, that's worthy of a nomination?
There's no way I'm going to nominate myself, Tom. No, I have nominated a few people over the years, but I'm not allowed to say who they are, obviously. No, it is a great event. We really look forward to it every year, and it just blows my mind the different sports that, except for football, rugby, and cricket. We have world champions involved. European champions. It's just incredible. It's a great night, and it's been going for, is it 20 years or more? Or it's less,
it's the 19th year this year.
There we are, 19 years. It's incredible. Yeah. I don't know where the time has gone.
There you go. What a perfect way to bring Alan in from Sport Pembrokeshire Awards. 19 years of celebrating sporting success and contribution in the county. Alan, it's showing no sign of getting boring or stale. The nominations still keep coming in. Was it just under 240 nominations this time round? It's an amazing advert for sport in Pembrokeshire.
Oh, it never ceases to amaze me, the appetite for people wanting to make nominations. You're a little bit off the mark. They were 240 because we had just over 270.
I'll take that correction. I'd rather have more than less.
Not quite a record, but it's such a task to go through all the nominations, and we do look at every single one, obviously. But the panels that look at these applications, and it never ceases to amaze me, the quality of nomination that we get, especially the girls and the boys categories, where they're going, what they're doing, how they're competing, where they're competing, not only up the line, so to speak, but now on a European stage, and we're seeing people succeed on a world stage. So it's incredible. But I always think then that behind those youngsters, there's lots of people, parents, coaches, we've got categories, club organizer, unsung heroes. There's lots of people who are enabling these performers to perform. So there's lots to be recognised.
Over on Instagram, can you talk about Merlin's Bridge under 14s and the Junior Team of the Year awards? We've done it. The nomination's gone in. They've had that nomination. Remind us then, Alan, as to the categories that are recognised at the awards evening.
Well, you're testing me now because I haven't got these written down.
He hasn't got his paper in front of him.
In my head now, I'm going to go, there's girls, boys under 16. We've got junior disability category, obviously adult disability, junior team, adult team, club organizer, coach of the year, unsung hero. We've got a special chairman's award. We've got a school award, lifetime award. I've missed a few out, but you get the drift. We like to think we're covering all bases, and it'll all add up to a really nice, successful evening. Fingers crossed.
It'll be fine because everything's going to be plugged in, ready to go. What's been some of your highlights over the years, then, Alan? And what's the one category that you think, I can't wait to find out for this one?
Well, I say I can't wait to find out. I know all of them already, but like I said, it's always, for me, it's always the girls and the boys to see who's doing what, who's coming through, and then it's always interesting to see if any of them kind of push on to, because I remember years ago we had I think Andrew Salter was possibly our first boys winner. Obviously, he went on to do great things with Glamorgan. So it's nice to see the progression, but then behind the scenes, I do like the unsung hero category to see what gets thrown up. Because over the years the presentation has developed, and we ask people to submit photos or video footage of their team or of themselves. And over the years, that's got easier because people have got mobile phones. But it's always the unsung hero category, and people will see it on the night because these people are, they're behind the scenes. They're not in photographs. It's hard to get photographs of them, but it's great to be able to recognise those people as well.
Yeah, Fraser.
Yeah, the Chairman's Award for me is the one that has always stood out, because I think that often brings stories which maybe the public weren't alerted to, and some very, really heartwarming stories as well. I've always remember Steve Barnett receiving it.
Yeah.
He ran on the pitch and believe gave emergency treatment to a youngster, Owen Gray, saved his life. There was Marie Tilley, tremendous amount of charity work she did, and I think that's the one that always stands out. The lifetime achievement is obviously so significant as well, but I think with that one, you're often aware of the athlete. Quite often with the Chairman's Award, the stories that maybe weren't aware of, which have gone under the radar, which is some really, really tales of courage and generosity and that have come out of that over the years. So that's the one I look forward to more than most, I will say. But yeah, 19 years is a long time. I do hope Alan's going to put on a special spread for all of us for the 20th. Next year, is it? I will have to ask Al. Is there any plan on a serious note to make that one a bit different, seeing as it is an anniversary one? In
all honesty, I haven't looked past Friday night yet.
Get 19 out the way first.
But I'm sure. Well, not I'm sure. I'd like to think we can, do something that will sort of help us look back over the 20. Maybe I'm dropping myself in it now by saying that. I hope Matt's not listening. I'm sure we'll mark it in some way. It would be nice.
Is there a moment that stands out for you, Al? For me, always the Jacob Thomas presentation stood out because it was so significant and so poignant, and it was underlying sadness because deep down.
Yeah, of course. Jacob. Absolutely. Yeah, Jacob is one that sticks in the mind. And another one for me is Nicky Rees and Gareth Scotcher.
Of course, yeah.
With the M&D and what they did together,
Sure.
I know Gareth's brother Gavin very well, and I know he was a proper character.
Yeah.
And it was great to see them there. Obviously, very sad how it all ends.
Yeah.
That was a very quite emotional.
But the most important thing there, Alan, they were recognised. That's the touching thing.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for these awards, they wouldn't have been recognised, would they? So, full credit to Sport Pembrokeshire for
that. One thing that I love about the awards, Al, you mentioned there about the Unsung Hero Award and people getting that recognition. Typically, when you go into sport, you do it to win and to get these accolades. And yet, when you look at those junior divisions and those people that bring it up, it's just about giving opportunities. And that's what I love about the awards, is that you look at the clubs and you look at the teams and the different age ranges. And it's those people that just make the club tick. That's what I like to look out for. It's like, why do you do it? And it's like, well, I just want the kids to run around, typically if it's a football club. Or one of the winners last year was a sailor going around from Leyland Yacht Club, and it's like, gosh, these are opportunities that wouldn't happen if you didn't have the right people that have gone through the right skills, the right training to offer it out to someone else. And that's a wonderful thing, Alan.
Absolutely. Initially I don't think we had the Club of the Year category, which I think it's been there for about 6 or 7 years now, perhaps. And I'm from Pembroke, and a couple of years ago, it sticks in my head, Pembroke Cricket Club were Club of the Year. Going back 6 or 7 years, they might have been struggling for a first team. But a gang of people there, all pulling together, all pulling in the right direction, And I think when they won it, they had three teams in the leagues. They had a female team. They got the All-Stars cricket going well. And, it's just a real hub of the community. And like you say, yes, it's nice to win, but it's, in all honesty, and COVID brought it home for myself, it's not about the winning, it's about being involved and being part of something. And, having a great time. Simple as that.
Yeah. I know it's about getting involved and having a great time. I, in jest, said about earlier on to Gordon about it's the taking part that counts, Wales v South Africa, and of course that's the Olympic slogan, isn't it, of getting involved. Olympians have been acknowledged at the Sport Pembrokeshire Awards in sailing, and
yeah, Michael Beckett was one of them.
Yeah, Matt Bush and disability sports
Matt
as well.
Bush,
It's the caliber of sport here in West Wales, Gordon, is incredible.
Yeah, I said it earlier. It's incredible. I've been to many of them over the years, and to be fair, Alan said about the quality of some of these people that are in the in each category. They're amazing. And we got a sports nuts county, let's be honest. Everybody loves this sport. The majority of people love this sport in Pembrokeshire, and this night celebrates that.
Who on earth would want to be a judge?
I don't know. Who would want to be a judge? Have we got anybody here who could enlighten us how that goes? No, I'm not going to do that to you, Fraser. Let's move on.
Well, I'm going to come to Fraser next, actually, and get your thoughts on the event. And of course, we talked about Olympians, we talked about these unsung heroes, the scale and the time it takes to go through those applications. It's all going to come to a head, Fraser, on Friday. We're going to know.
Yeah, absolutely. But you want difficult choices, don't you? You want a wide range of nominations and applications. Otherwise, because that showcases talent, doesn't it? You don't want any kind of slimline format or very few nominations coming in. So the more difficult the job, actually the better the sign of it is. And I think it's just a night of positivity and celebrating sport as well. It has got difficult in some areas of people. We talk a lot, don't we, about and Alan's mentioned maybe Pembroke side who've gone against the grain, but cricket, football, rugby now. We talked about rugby in the first half of the show, about teams struggling maybe to field as many sides, but maybe not as many juniors going into team sport as there was, and things like that. And there's obviously we have this time of year where the weather plays havoc, and it is easy sometimes just to think negatively a bit too much about local sport. And having this night in November, like I said, it brings so many people together. You see so many faces, and it's just a positive night. It's a night for catching up. It's a night for celebrating, and it's almost a reminder of what sport can do for us, locally, nationally, internationally, whatever. So it's a fantastic evening, and the biggest compliment I can pay really to Alan and his team is that you never had to change it. It hasn't lost its appeal. I think that's the most significant thing. The venue hasn't changed. The format of the evening hasn't really changed. And yet you get the record number of nominations and the sold out venue every year. And that's a testament to it. And until that dwindles, it doesn't need to change, to be honest with you.
No, and in honesty, we have conversations in work about, do we need to change it? But, like you say, we've done it for 19 years in pretty much the same manner. The nominations are, to get 270 odd nominations.
Yeah.
And like you say, not just across football, rugby, hockey, netball. We're getting, sailing. We've got judo. We've got MMA this year. We've got darts this year.
Yeah.
There's opportunities out there for everybody. So it's
darts a sport. That's why he looked at me then.
Don't know what you're talking about, Gordon. It is amazing, and my job, I've never actually seen the awards because I'm outside greeting the winners as they come off, and there's going to be a very special sports show next week. This time next week, we'll be catching up with all those winners the moment they come off the stage, which I cannot wait. It's one of my favorite things of the year that I do with the radio is catching up with all these winners, having been sat in this chair throughout the last 12 months. So that's what you'll be listening to on the sports show next week, 7 till 9 o'clock. But it's not just those that have nominated that might be winning an award. Alan, you've been showing us your trophies, your silverware in the background there, because you've been involved in the senior golf. There it is for those watching on social media. Tell us a bit about what you've been getting up to.
Well, the old man's golf, the over 55s. Yeah, I've done all right. A couple of years ago when I turned 55, I entered the Welsh Seniors Open in Ashburnham, and I won it, and I got into the Welsh team, and I've qualified for the last 3 years now, so it's it's all going well, and it's really enjoyable.
What's your views on the local golf scene, Alan? I'm generally interested in that because I know in COVID there was perhaps an uptake when people couldn't really do anything else sport-wise, actually, on some courses. And we talk so much in rugby and football about maybe numbers dwindling a bit, not the same appeal to youngsters as it was. How do you find it in golf in terms of the competition you're facing and the uptake of new members at clubs?
Well, the uptake of new members is, Wales Golf have got a new to golf scheme, which has been running for, perhaps 10 years now, maybe more. And, down at South Pems, I think 80 people have gone through the new to golf scheme this year. So it's, it's good and it works. And it gives people an introduction to golf and is an introductory membership afterwards. But, what clubs need are adult paying members who are paying 600, 700, 800 quid a year. But to get into golf is reasonably easy. And to answer your question about, COVID and people getting into it through rugby football because they couldn't play it, down at South Pems where I play, when we play club competitions in the year, we've got lads who are playing, they're playing for the Quins. Rugby in the winter, we've got Yogi, Jonathan Rogers. He's a cracking golfer, but he doesn't play through the winter because he's got other things to do, which is fair enough. But I'm sure that's replicated. Not that you can replicate Yog because you can't. I'm sure it's replicated in clubs across the county. So it's golf is relatively easy to get into.
Yeah. When are you next back on the fairway?
Depends when it's. Mind you, I enjoy the challenge of the wind and the rain, but I don't really want to get too soaked too many times over the winter. But I'll play often enough to keep my hand in.
And hopefully qualify again for another Welsh call-up.
Yeah, we'll try again. Yeah, and the good thing about it is you pay these entrance fees and you get to play a course.
Yeah,
I played in the British Seniors this year at Walton Heath, and it's 320 quid a round there.
Wow.
And the entrance fee for the competition was 150 quid, and I had 3 rounds of golf for that. So I missed the cut, but I still had a good time.
And we're having a good time is what we're going to be doing on Friday. A reminder, Alan from Sport Pembrokeshire here, ahead of those awards on Friday evening at the Follies. You don't need to be there because all those winners are going to be interviewed as they come off the stage, and it'll be right here on Pure West Radio, on your Pure West Sports show, where you can catch up with them, their exploits, and why they were chosen as the winners of those awards. Alan, thank you so much for your time this evening, previewing Sport Pembrokeshire Awards, 19 years and still going strong, and looking forward to those plans for the big 20th, Alan.
No pressure.
We're going to take a moment now. When we come back, Fraser, we're going to look at football.
We are. Bit of senior cap. There were a few games actually played, and they're all most of them were lower down the league, actually, strangely enough. So that's just something about pictures. But yeah, we'll have a look.
Review and preview on the way next here on Pure West Radio for a Monday evening.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors offer a warm and friendly